Thanks for joining us here on 6 Plus. I'm Lindsay Lippman. Here's what's in the news now. 5 people are recovering from severe burns after an explosion at a Temple manufacturing facility Tuesday. It happened at the Delta centrifugal plant on Center Street. Some family members sent 6 News pictures of a man that was badly burned. They say he was in the middle of it all, trying to get people out of the building. And we want to warn you, the images you're about to see are graphic. Sydney Deshawn reports.
When the skin is injured like that with a burn, it holds heat for quite some time.
5 employees severely burned while on the job at the Delta centrifugal plant in Temple.
At about 11:30, Temple Fire and Rescue got a call for a structure fire that was secondary to the explosion that happened in that manufacturing facility.
Family members say this Temple father is just one who was in the heat of it all. He was out on the roof trying to put out the fire when he fell and couldn't get up. He suffered severe burns. It'll take weeks for him to recover, and it's unclear for the others.
If it's a first-degree burn versus a third-degree burn, it's just going to be a varying time for those patients to recover.
We do know the explosion involved a furnace filled with 10,000 pounds of molten metal. It was being heated to 2,900 degrees.
The large furnace full of metal, the temperatures, all of that's part of their normal manufacturing process. This was just a fluke instance that caused something to malfunction, which caused that explosion to injure those 5 persons.
Temple Fire and Rescue says they haven't had any reports of this happening before, and safety precautions at industrial facilities like this are put in place.
The fire marshal's office does inspect those facilities. We do pre-plans with them as well.
Families are asking the Central Texas community to keep loved ones in their thoughts and prayers. On
the fire department side, we don't typically deal a lot with the families. We take care of their family members when they get hurt. But we're still wishing them a speedy recovery.
And authorities are investigating that explosion. It's not clear what exactly caused it. Heartbreaking news for the entire Mexia community. Star football player and senior Micah Curvin has died. He was in a Temple hospital fighting for his life after suffering from an asthma attack that turned into a cardiac emergency. Hundreds showed up to a prayer vigil this week at Black Cat Stadium, and they were hoping for a miracle. The neighboring community of Groesbeck did the same thing, but Wednesday night, Mexia Athletics shared that Micah had passed away. Messages of condolences have been pouring in, and the Booster Club has been raising money with Micah Strong t-shirts to help the family. More fundraisers are planned during the Mexia-Groesbeck rivalry game happening next week. 6 News uncovers revealing new details about what happened the day a family from Troy went missing in Alaskan waters. We obtained audio files of a court proceeding on September 19th where witnesses testified for the first time. 6 News reporter Sydney Deshawn has been following this story and brings us the latest developments.
A family fishing trip on August 3rd.
It was 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes from us having fun to the boat the boat rolled like this, tipped on its side, and then the engines went down and just the nose up.
Turned into a horrific scene in a matter of just minutes. Here's what 6 News learned. The captain of the boat told the jury while they were out on the water, one of the engines sputtered. He saw another boat fishing close by, so he anchored the boat.
We were just hanging out and fishing and cooking hot dogs and hamburgers.
The captain testified David Maynard noticed water was coming up on the deck from a drain hole.
He pointed to it and he said, "Is that normal?"
The family got ready to leave.
I just got ready to fire up the engine and pull anchor, but engines wouldn't start, and I kept trying.
The captain and another survivor say water levels came up fast and the families called for help.
David got on his phone. Mary walked between the two of us to where the radio hung, and I said, are you afraid? And she said yes.
The captain went to pull out the life raft and described how his girlfriend and their 2 kids were able to make it on. At one point in his testimony, the captain said he didn't know where the Maynard family was while he was trying to save his own. He then testified he tried to reach inside the boat window, but the boat was sinking too fast while he was looking for the Maynards. The last time he saw David was when he was attempting to give coordinates. A Good Samaritan later found this family of 4.
I think he asked if there was anybody else, and I told him there were, but they didn't make it out of the boat.
The Coast Guard searched for over 30 hours, but had no luck.
We had a functional survival time of 7.1 hours and a cold survival time of 9.7 hours. That would be from when the people in the water entered at about 6 p.m. the night before.
Wow. In the hearing, 6 jury members decided the family of 4 were deceased as a result of accidental drowning on August 3rd. Presumptive death hearings are held when someone is believed to be dead, but there's no direct proof of their death. Meanwhile, the dock workers' strike has been suspended until January, but the 3-day strike put the importance of building and keeping jobs in Texas front and center. To mark National Manufacturing Day, Governor Greg Abbott stopped by Texas State Technical College in Waco on Thursday. 6 News reporter Juliana Jackson spoke with faculty and students about the importance of making American-made products.
An opportunity to get career and technical training skills that can lead to a better job and a bigger paycheck.
Governor Greg Abbott wants Texans to have better jobs and a bigger paycheck. Governor Abbott spoke at TSTC Waco for National Manufacturing Day.
TSTC offers career and technical skills training so that graduates can go on to high-demand, good-paying jobs across our entire state.
Precision machine and technology student Blake Williamson presented Governor Abbott with a welded hammer. He says he wants to help bring manufacturing back to America.
I really believe in American manufacturing. I think that it's something that we need to bring back to the United States.
Working with future generations, the Texas State Technical College is wanting to build a better tomorrow.
We want made in America. We have to have people to make it in America, and we teach people how to do it.
Director of Alignment for Precision Machine Technology, Jeremy Bailey, teaches students the skills needed for the manufacturing world.
It's important for, if you want to be able to shape the world, you got to be able to do stuff like this.
Well, Governor Abbott thanked TSTC and similar schools for teaching and creating a skilled workforce for the future of Texas manufacturing. More than $8.2 million in grants will help fund veterans assistance programs across the state, and that includes several programs here in Central Texas. Governor Greg Abbott announced the news on Wednesday. Just take a look at some of the veterans services receiving those funds. $400,000 will go to the Waco Salvation Army for financial assistance and home modifications. Habitat for Humanity in Killeen will get $250,000, and Meals on Wheels Central Texas is getting a $500,000 grant. The grant money comes primarily from the Texas Lottery Commission. The Central Texas Food Bank announced a new multi-purpose facility in Waco, serving Central Texas communities spanning for miles. This facility will have food gatherings, preparation, and a distribution hub. 6 News reporter Juliana Jackson spoke with the Central Texas Food Bank CEO about how they plan to help more Central Texans.
Really closing the meal gap in Central Texas is why we exist.
The Central Texas Food Bank is branching their program to Central Texas, building a new multi-purpose facility in Waco. President and CEO Sari Vatsky says for this project, they wanted to learn the needs of Central Texans and apply it to their facility.
We've listened to neighbors themselves and gotten feedback from over 200 individuals and our partner agencies that really let us know about the need in the community. It really needs to be a front-facing solution, and so this facility will have a neighbor market, will provide benefits assistance, will provide nutrition education, and as well as volunteer opportunities as well.
Vatsky wants the community to step up and do their part.
Have to step up and do more for our community. And so I'm excited to be able to provide a dignified experience when people come to the facility. I'm looking forward to being able to distribute food faster and in a more efficient way.
Earlier this year, 6 News spoke with a Central Texas Food Bank program partner, Family of Faith Worship Center. Pastor Ruben Andrade says hunger affects people in different ways.
Someone's hungry, they're not going to be going out looking for a job. They're not going to go and to the doctor's appointments. Their first thing is going to be, can I get something to eat?
He says this is just one part of the initiative to fight hunger in Central Texas.
And so to hear those stories are compelling, that in our own backyard there are people who are going without food. And so we're here to hopefully be able to supply that need.
And the Central Texas Food Bank will also distribute food faster and in a more efficient way. They'll also have services like nutrition education. The facility is opening in late 2025 in Waco. Well, a Temple mother says her hard work and dedication paid off. She now has her first home, perfect for her special needs daughter, and it's all thanks to the Fort Cavazos area Habitat for Humanity. Mike Rogers tells us how this family volunteered their way into that new home.
Since 2020, it was the dream of Benita Cruz to put a roof over her and her daughter's head.
Painting and help other people, like fix her house, painting the house, help inside.
To do that, she joined the Fort Cavazos Area Habitat for Humanity organization as a volunteer to bring the very same dream she was chasing to life.
She has a lot of conditions, and in Puerto Rico we don't have the same help.
For herself and her daughter. The home, blessed by a priest, and for President and CEO of Fort Cavazos Area Habitat for Humanity, Kristen Smith, the new home could not have been handed over to a more worthy volunteer.
Teaching them about why credit is so important, why saving money is so important, and owning your own home is so important. That's what we do with all of our classes that we offer.
From credit building to budgeting, Estrada says she's learned the skills to maintain the house she now calls a home, and says she's grateful that it's designed to fit all of her family's needs.
They make the ramp for her, they make everything comfort for I can work with her. The supply that she needs, like in the shower, in the toilet, like chairs and things like that.
From a ramp in the backyard to a handicap-accessible shower and safeguards throughout the house, Estrada says the home was made handicap accessible for her daughter, closer to doctors, and a dream come true for her.
Real exciting, like it's emotion I cannot explain. It's something real big.
Reporting, Mike Rogers, 6 News.
Since Fort Cavazos Habitat for Humanity homes are built at cost, they're sold to the homeowners with a 0% interest rate. That means Estrada does have a mortgage, but it's only 30% of her income. CEO Kristen Smith says even that is setting her up for success. After riots involving gangs at Waco High School, the administration is recruiting some pro-parents to keep students safe. While there are some resources for students who ask for it, Principal Joseph Alexander says the school needed to try something different. Well, now they're asking dads to help mentor kids. One dad who stepped up to the challenge says it can change students' lives.
Engagement from kids with not just their dads, but positive male figures overall helps them be better students in school, but also be better productive members of society, gives them a better opportunity to succeed in college and job opportunities after they leave high school.
The All Pro Dads Group is looking for members and sponsors. If you want to get involved, you can find all that information on our website, kcentv.com. Well, the Central Texas Girl Scouts are honoring 2 of their members for encouraging unity. Their troop is giving Jasmine Gray and Avni Prakesh the Bronze Award after they created an exhibit about diversity. Jasmine and Avni wanted their project to be educational. This is the exhibit that's on display inside the Temple Children's Museum. Using inspiration from their own upbringing, they wanted there to be an opportunity for others to learn about different cultures, races, and ethnicities. It's interactive for kids too. The girls tell 6 News it took over 20 hours to create the exhibit and do research for it. They're most proud that the exhibit will permanently be on display at the Temple Children's Museum, where it will have a greater reach.
I hope that they take away, like how my parents are from India. I'm proud in that. I hope that they are proud in their culture and where they're from.
I just hope that they could, learn something from looking at this and respect other people's cultures and have a positive vibe about it.
The exhibit includes information about countries' food, clothing, animals, language, and flags. Next, the girls will work toward a silver award. They don't have any plans for that just yet, but clearly they're on the right path. And that's what's in the news now. Up next, Chief Meteorologist Matt Farrell has your Weather 101. Thanks for joining us here on 6 Plus. I'm Lindsay Lippman.
Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of Weather Impact 101. This week we're talking about the often mentioned but seldom understood phenomena called El Nino and La Nina. We're going to talk about how these form and what they mean for our weather here in Central Texas. Now, to talk about El Nino and La Nina, we first have to talk about what are called the trade winds. Now, the trade winds are a semi-permanent band of winds that blow from east to west right around the equator. Now, they're called the trade winds because sailors back in the days of sail would use these winds to propel them from Europe to the New World to buy and trade goods. Now, these trade winds also help to move warmer waters from the equatorial Pacific towards the west. Now, this helps regulate sea surface temperatures through a process called upwelling. Now, in an El Nino year, what happens is sometimes those trade winds will slow down and even reverse direction. So as this happens, this causes warmer than average sea surface temperatures in the equatorial Pacific and in fact pushes those warmer waters towards the coast of South America. This, in fact, is how El Nino got its name. Fishermen in Peru noticed that as these warmer waters were occurring in certain years, the fish were more and more sparse. So, of course, since this happened during the holiday season, they named it El Nino after the Christ child. So, how does all of this affect us here in Central Texas? Well, in order to talk about that, we have to talk about jet streams. We have the subtropical jet stream, and we have the polar jet stream. Now, in an El Nino year, the warmer waters of the Pacific can affect our subtropical jet stream, pushing it further to the south. You can see here moving right over the southern United States and Texas. So since these act as conveyor belts which bring weather systems, that means we get more of these weather systems in an El Nino winter, and that makes for more rain and wetter than usual winter season. So that's an El Nino. What about a La Nina? Well, La Nina is the exact opposite. And in a La Nina year, what happens is those trade winds actually speed up, pushing more of that warm water back towards Asia. That creates cooler than average sea surface temperatures in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Much like El Nino, this can impact our jet streams, but in this case, what's going to happen is it's actually going to push those jet streams further to the north. So now our conveyor belt is well away from Texas and the southern United States. So what happens is we end up with drier and warmer than average winter seasons. So how often do these occur? Well, it's hard to answer that question. So with this, we have to remember it's a cycle. What happens is we go from El Nino back to normal, back to a La Nina, and back to normal. We can't say with any certainty that these are going to occur every X number of years. Now, as a general rule, we can say they're going to occur roughly every 7 years, but again, this is an irregular cycle, so we cannot say with any certainty when an El Nino or a La Nina is going to pop up, but our rule of thumb is roughly once every 7 years or so. At the time of this filming, it's October 1st, 2024. We're sitting currently at a 71% chance of a La Nina forming throughout the winter. We've already seen several weeks this fall of above average temperatures, and with La Nina expected to form, this pattern could last well into 2025. Well, that does it for this installment of Weather Impact 101. In our next installment, Whitney Huddleston will be talking about all the different types of clouds that you can see. For now, this is Chief Meteorologist Matt Farrell for 6 News.